Okay, let's draw some more. A full window. Okay, I was said that the last video was possibly 10 or 11. It was actually 9. This is 10. I was working on the front hangar bay area, and what I need to do, there's a couple of things on here. I need to go to edit. Okay, what I need to do, and this might get a little tricky. I need to stitch, or I want to stitch this area. So I need to go to Z, then I need to hit A. And if I look from the side, let's see. That's kind of this way. Now the nice thing about this being offset with this hole is that I can zoom in. And I got a double line. Why do I have a double line again? Actually, I got a couple different vertices there, so I can come in at an angle. And I'm close enough, I think. I'm close enough to the... No, it's definitely not... Okay, so I think to do this the easy way, I'm going to go Control, grab both of those, W, merge at center, and this, I know for a fact what this is going to do by me stitching this together this way. Is it's going to offset that line, which isn't a problem, and I'm not going to go through the process again for you to watch. I'm going to fix this off video, because in the last video I showed you how I went basically up a whole line and scaled it to the X and straightened it out. So I'm going to do that again after I stitch this together, because I know that by merging them and they're a tiny bit off, I know that it's going to do the same thing. It's going to make W merge at center. So I'm stitching this together, which I'm connecting all of these vertices, and the outside seems to match up, but the inner lines for some reason don't seem to be sharing the same love. The lines are offset a little bit for some reason, and it's microscopic, but again, see, and you notice there's two vertices there because we have 4 lines. If I only grabbed one, then so anyways, we're going to merge at center. And if you notice the line kind of changed appearance, we need to hit A. We need to W, merge at center. Okay, we hit the A. We back out a little bit and we climb up here. Now, if you notice, there's all these loop cuts from where we had it. So hopefully those loop cuts kind of line up with the lines. Because if they don't, then it might make some shading problems. Okay. We should have 2 here. Let's box the center one. W, merge at center. A. Okay, Control. I can either Control right, grab that, or I can box it either way. W, merge at center. Not boxing is nice if you're doing multiple grabs. Okay, let's go up here. We're traveling across. That's a loop cut. There's another loop cut to the outer. Okay, here's our next two. And like I said, I really merge center A. I really hope that, because like I said, if you're just watching this video and you don't know much about this, then this is probably confusing because you're seeing dots and lines. It probably doesn't make a lot of sense to you. Part of practicing with drawing this stuff is after a while you kind of know how to follow the lines and double check your work and stuff like that. Let's box it right here. W. Merge at center. A. We need to grab this top one. This is the outer one. W. Merge at center. Okay. And that's what I was talking about. That, like I said, sometimes some of this stuff matters, and sometimes some of this stuff is just kind of a nitty gritty. If it's microscopic, and if your object looks fine, then you don't need to worry about this. But if you are a perfectionist, or definitely it's an outer line that you don't want double lines where it's making your shading all goofy. Let's see, let's grab this. W merge at center. Okay, A. And see, I could even do this this way. I backed out a little bit. Let's grab this one. W, merge at center. A. Let's box this one. W, merge at center. And sometimes what you might do is just leave that one marked while you rotate this. And then that way you don't lose your place. So our next two is up on top here. We need to hit the A. And let's box bottom one. W merge at center. Hit A. Let's box this one. W merge at center. A. Okay, let's grab this one up here in the screen here. W merge at center. A. Let's grab this top one here. I'll box this one. W merge at center. It's good to go ahead and do that merge. I think that was our center one. It's either our center one or it's just one over. So if you notice, I'm kind of rotating this around. Like I said, I'm kept that mark and I've already merged it. So I'm bringing it to, and I'm leaving it in the picture. I don't want to do this. I don't want to run it out of the picture because then I might select that and forget and then have a big mess. And sometimes I'm going to grab it, save it as, I'm going to save it right quick. Okay, hit A. Okay, I need to box this outer one. W, merge center. A, grab this one underneath. W, merge center. Like I said, later on, I'm going to rebox this whole line, these parallel lines from the side, and then scale them to the X, straighten them out. I'm going to probably a lot later, it might be more or less finish this whole, and then I'll edit it, but I'm not going to edit it. I'll edit it off screen because you've seen enough of that to where, and then see, if I forget, did I merge that? I think I did, but I can also do it again. If I'm not sure, I'll be like, oh, did I merge that or not? I can go ahead and, just retry it, because if it's merged, it's not going to unmerge it. So A, we'll box this one. W, merge, center. Okay, work our way out a little bit. And I'm at an angle where I can pretty much watch these lines. Like I said, I can tell there's a loop cut. And here's our next one with actual hull lines. So we need to hit A, box, inner or outer. I kind of like to go in a pattern like inner and then outer, inner and then outer. You get into some of those habits and it helps you to where you usually don't miss stuff. Okay, W, merge, center. Okay, I'm going to leave it marked. I'm going to come up to this next one, which is right here. Now this time I did run it off screen, so I definitely need to remember to hit the A to unselect it. And then I need to box the inner. W, merge, center. Hit my A, box my outer one. W, merge, center. Push my A. Come down here. Now this one's quite an angle here, but I think I can still grab it here. I'm going to grab the outer one first, though. W, merge, center. See, I almost hit it cursor. That would have been a mess because you'd have seen them lines jump to the middle of the ship. Okay, push A. Grab this one. W, merge, center. Okay, and we're actually down to the bottom of the ship here. Let's hit A. Let's hit box. Let's go down the inner. W, merge, center. A, hit this outer one. Box. W, merge. Oh. Damn it. Let's go Control Z, Control Z. Actually removed a double, which wasn't good. It got rid of a line. So now we'll try this again. We'll go W, merge, center. Okay, there we go. That's what we wanted. Yeah, I just literally deleted a vertice, which would have got rid of probably a whole line or a whole face or something. Okay, so let's take it. A selects the whole thing. A deselect if you're not sure. Let's save it as again. Okay, now what I want to do now is actually box this whole object, and I can do it from an angle, but I can also do it from the side like this. I got it. So I'm going to box this whole shebangy rangy, and then we're going to hit T. And then we're going to go to the tools. I'm in shading. I don't want to go to shading right now. I want to go to tools, and I want to bring it down, and I want to go remove doubles. 0 doubles. So that's cool. So that means I'm doing pretty good. I haven't accidentally duplicated stuff or missed some vertices and stuff. Let's get rid of this again. Let's go Z. Okay. Let's go deselect. Let's go object mode just to take a look at it. And if you notice, I kind of now what I might have to do, I'm not sure. I still have that kind of that funky line, and it's because part of the reason I have this funky line. There's 2 reasons, I think. Let's go to edit mode. Let's go to faces. Okay, what I did somehow is I got faces on this one side of this lip, but on this other side I don't have. I actually don't have faces there because of the way I selected it somehow. So we need to come to line mode, and we need to add in faces here. So we need to select this line and then shift and select this line and go face A. And we need to do that like we had done that We did that on the backside on the other video face. Fix it. We'll fix this right quick. And actually, what's kind of funny is while we're on faces, okay, shift. Actually, I just left clicked it, and then I need to hold shift to select the second one. I'll show you why here in a second. Like if you select one, like I select this line, and then I come up and I just left click on this time, it'll unselect the other one. That's why you got to hold the shift so you can select both. Face. A. And same thing here. Face. A. Shift. Or shift and face. A. And I need to walk it all the way down. And then I might have to check the shading because I think I have some flat panels on here too. I might have to tell it to make the faces smooth to get the look we're looking for. Now I'm actually facing these, even though like this one I could put one big face on it, but I want the faces separate because sometimes it doesn't save any vertices. It doesn't really save any vertices, but sometimes, whoopsie, I don't know what I did. I selected the whole thing. Control Z. Okay, there. What I was saying is the vertices are there regardless because you have those loop cuts, so you have those end vertices, and those are flat, so you can put one face in there. But by putting one face in there, sometimes it takes away detail, or it also takes away the options of if you wanted to go down there and like for instance, if I look at the very front of this thing, if for some reason I wanted to say like round this hole out at this point here, or like if I wanted to actually stretch those, which I don't on this ship per se, but if I wanted to stretch those out, you have those loop cuts in there and you have those three faces, then you can stretch this around. But if you try doing that and you only have one face in there, even though you have those loop cuts around it, and then what it ends up doing is it ends up making it to where you kind of can't do that. You'd have to cut them back out and stuff like that. Okay, Z. Yeah, I need to go more of an angle. I'm seeing the inner lines, which I don't like. And I'm also seeing, what am I seeing? Sometimes it actually helps to, what's this funky extra line in here? Looks like I got a face or something that's in here that I don't. Huh. Okay, well anyway, select this line, shift, select this line, let's go face, A, this line, shift, this line, face, A, and last but not least, this line, and this line, and face, A. This is kind of interesting. I think part of the problem with this is, like I said, it looks good this way. No problem at all. Actually, a few of the lines look like they needed just a tiny bit of tweaking here. This little edge here, I have to make sure that this edge is either flush or it kind of comes out to the inner side, which actually is not really a problem. Or I could even taper it in. What do we got going on down here? This looks kind of, it looks funky from a distance, but it doesn't really seem to be too much of a problem up front. The only thing, like I said, the only problem I'm having with it a little bit is that it sticks out further than that landing pad, so you have this little extra line. So if you come to object mode, it actually doesn't really seem to be too much of a problem. It just looks like it sticks out a little bit, and then it has a little edge there. But what I was starting to say, and I think on the back side there, for some reason, okay, that outer face doesn't look all that horrible. It just looks like how the ship kind of, the sides have tapers, but yet this sticks out, so it's almost like we need to taper that whole lip, that outer lip. And we also need to come in here. I'm going to come back to edit mode. And we need to go to faces. And we need to select that face and that face. And the same thing on the other side here. We need to select these two faces. Shift. Then we need to push our T. We need to go to shading. And we need to just tell it to smooth those faces. Let's go back to verts and let's go to object mode. If you notice, those faces aren't screaming like a flat surface anymore, except for now these two faces here. So we need to go back to edit and go back into faces, and we need to select this one, shift this one, smooth them. There we go. And go back to verts, go back to object mode, and actually we can push our T, get rid of that thing. Yeah, it looks better. So the only issue I have with it now a little bit, and see, we have a little bit of shading issues back here in the back here. For some reason, let's go back to edit. Let's go to face. Let's select this one. Shift this one and this one. Let's go to T. Let's go smooth. Okay, A, and then let's go on the other side of the ship. Just in case here, and let's select that face, shift that one, and let's go smooth. Didn't seem to do anything. T. Let's select A. Let's go back to verts. Let's go to object mode. Yeah, we got a little bit. Like I said, I might have to play around with this a little bit because it seems like we got a little bit of it. Now, it also might not be too much of a problem because once I seam this thing and I basically UV map it, when I do that, then that might totally kind of get rid of all of these shading issues with the model. Okay, now the other thing what I was wanting to do, well, I was joking around here. Let's go back to line mode. What I want to do is I want to go to vertices first. And I want to grab box. I want to grab this outer one here, and I want to go all the way. I want to come all the way over here to this side and zoom in. And I want to grab this one. And if you notice, I don't know if you can see it, but there's literally since that wall is sticking out, it's almost like that. It's almost like sheet metal sticking out here. I bumped it wrong. I want to kind of look at it, show you what I'm talking about at an angle. You can see this little shading here, and this thing's connected, but it's almost like the sheet metal's been out. So I'm going to hit S for scale to the Y, and then I'm going to bring it in. See, I brought it in too far, actually. I actually want to basically I have to bring it in a little bit further than the line. And then that way, trying to angle it where you can see it a little up closer here. Because I still might have to. Okay, so what that did was I brought it in far enough that I hit that line. And then that actually made this little shelf. That actually made this little shelf here just a tad wider there. But that's not really an issue. That and it's microscopic. You really can't see it. If you was really walking around on the real ship, it would kind of be funny because you would notice that the little round pad, since it's coming around in a circle, is that the wall's just a little bit skinnier than that circle. And it should have fixed it on this side too. Which we can come in and look at it, make sure that it did the same thing, which it did. We got a little bit more shelf area, and then that vertice, and it kind of makes the shading funky here. There's a few ways around this kind of stuff. I could actually loop cut it and or use the knife tool, and I can put vertices in the floor level, and then what you'd have to do, I'd have to like erase the whole floor and then draw it in. I could basically draw a whole line, perimeter line, which would actually make it a little bit smoother because it wouldn't have this funky line. But I don't think it's I don't think it's that big of a problem. If it ends up being a problem, then I'll do that. I'll actually go back to line mode. But like I said, if you go, it's one way to check it. A lot of times you're doing this stuff is go into object mode, and then yes, see if for some reason it looks like you kind of have funky things in object mode. Okay, now again, it looks like we need to go back to edit mode. Go into face mode. We need to select this face, and we need to push our T to go to our tools, and we need to smooth those. There we go. And then we can hit A and T again. Come back into object mode, and that made it smooth, a lot smoother. So, and what I was saying is it's kind of hard to see, but one of the reasons we have this defined line here is because it's almost like we need to take all the other, it's almost like I need to grab all of these vertices a little bit because they're coming straight out from that. And this hole at this point isn't really straight. If you look at it from above, I mean, it's straight from the top, but from the sides it's not straight. Now, all of these lines all of a sudden are straight. So it's almost like I need to taper them to run with these lines, or even maybe a little bit more in, and then that would get rid of that. It would get rid of that when we're in object mode. It would get rid of this little flat effect. That's part of the problem with this. So go into 7, go back into edit, save it right quick. Okay, now what I need to do, I already moved that one little line down there. So what I need to do now is I need to push Z. And I need to be very careful. I need to make sure that I don't grab no lines underneath these. But I need to box. I need to grab each one of these. Okay, now sometimes what you need to do is see how I move the angles around so that I'm not hitting these while I'm grabbing these other ones. One way to tell sometimes too is you'll tell because of the you can just see that the stuff underneath it, all of a sudden you have yellow lines underneath there and stuff, and then you kind of go, oh, you kind of get the idea that you grabbed other stuff. And then, like I said, I always kind of like to rotate this stuff around a little bit. So let's box. Let's box. I really actually probably don't have to grab the center line because it should be centered. And or again, it's another one of them things. Oopsie. Okay, box. It's one of them things that, like I said, when I'm going to double check all of these main lines in this ship, where if I got a bunch of little double lines, I can grab them and line them up on whichever axis to make sure that they're not offset. Box that one, that one. Okay, it looks like I'm pretty clear here. Should be able to grab all of these without grabbing anything behind it or underneath it. Okay, let's hit 7. Let's go Z. And I got that cursor in the center. So I should be able to go scale to the Y and bring that in. And actually, I'm probably going to have to literally scale this. Like I might have to actually scale these, like grab 2 of these lines at a time and scale them, because I think what's going to happen, like now, I think it made, yeah, I think it brought, well, yeah, and what it scaled it to the Y, but what it did, oh no, actually it's kind of funny. It looks funky at an angle, but I think it looks funky because of the because of the way it drug it in. Like go Control 3. It I'm probably gonna have to do these 2 at a time. Let's go to object mode right quick, see what it looks like. Yeah, see what it did was it like it looks good from there, but when you start dragging it out this way, it literally brought that lip of that ship out. So I might have to literally go Z, edit mode, Z, and what I might have to do is like this. I might have to go Z and box this one, and oh no, center, so we'll let go of that one. But I might have to box this one here. Grab this one and then skip the center and grab these 2. Then I can push Z. Then I can actually go like this. I could go scale to the Y, and then I could bring like that. Very minutely. I can go object mode right quick. And you can kind of see, it's like you can't really see it. It didn't change the shape that much, but and like I said, actually, when I go to UV map this, It might not even be that much of an issue. I just noticed it from the shading, and they put the shading in there to help you do that. Because, like I said, in a sense, the problem is if you look at this hull, we look at it in edit mode, you notice that like this ship's tapering down, and then all of a sudden the stuff goes dead straight out from it, and it shouldn't go straight out from it. It should actually, you know, like move in. So the next one would be like if we box this, we'll go Z, grab both of them. Oh, somehow we accidentally grabbed both of them because they were sticking out far enough. So Z, so we got those two. And then we got to come all the way. Skip that center one, you grab this one again, box. And you can come at an angle because I don't think we got that bottom one. We didn't. So you can do that way too, and then we can hit 7. And then again, we can scale it to the Y, and we can bring those in. And you can either you can try to just line it up somewhat like that, or we could actually taper it just a hair more in, and then leave them selected. Go to object mode, and then you can kind of look at it, and you can kind of see. You know, or you can look at it in object mode for one, or come back into edit mode. And you can actually look to see, it's like, yeah, they're tapering in. They're not really tapering down. On these, you could actually probably, instead of just scaling them perfectly to the Y, you could actually. You could probably actually drop them down, but I don't want to drop them down. I think that'd start distorting. We got all these sidelines running perfect. So if we started dropping them down, it would like taper, and I don't really want to taper. I had thought about tapering this. There's another way I could also taper this. I could actually come onto this top line, which would affect it a little bit, this outer line, and I could actually pull the edge back. And I could either put a loop cut in it to make it round like the back end back here, like this big back end. I could do it on a microscopic scale, but I'd almost need to do it on both of them. And I think we're fine. We don't need to do that. Oh, now this is interesting. I didn't finish the... It don't look like I actually finished the faces on this back hanger bay either. I need to finish facing in this edge here. And again, I'll do that. I don't think I'll do that in a tutorial. You guys have seen enough of that. You know, you understand how to do it. Put the faces in here now and smooth them and stuff. In fact, I've even thought about if I get to certain aspects of this model, I think what I might do is, 7. What I might do is I might actually speed draw this thing to a point. Okay, Z. I might actually time lapse draw this, like parts of this, so that it's not just so redundant. Like once I get the point across that this is how you do this and this is how you do that, then I might just take and do some speed lapse stuff where you can just watch me draw quite a bit of the hull or something when I'm just shaping it. Okay, let's go scale to the Y, and let's bring that in to right about there. Let's look at it from this angle. Yeah. And what's kind of funny is I think these ones with the loop cuts, because when I bring that in, it's going to distort that. I almost got to scale those together. And or, like I said, the other thing I can do as an option is actually just leave the hole like that, to where it basically kind of has that straight out opening for the hanger bay kind of thing. Because the back's almost the same way. If we look at this back, it looks great from the exact side. But if you go from above and you look at this, and actually this isn't too bad, but it is a little bit ganky. Not horrible, but a little bit. We almost need to bring. I got some of these lines like. I don't got the front selected, do I? Okay, no. I got a few of these lines here, like this one here. Box this one and find the one straight across from it, which is 1, 2, 3. This one here. Okay. Z it up again. And it's almost like we need to grab it to the X and line it up just kind of like that. Okay. And then same thing down here. We have a few of these lines that are just see? We have a few of these lines that are just a little bit out of control here with the angles. This one right here, it is. Go Z. And we'll grab it to the X and bring it in just a tad, and that makes it look a little better. And then if you notice, again from the back here, it's almost like we need to squeeze. We either have the option of just having this overhang come out straight here, which if we actually look at it from straight behind, it kind of doesn't look like that much of a problem. But then there's part of it, like if you could scale it, and one of the ways I could scale this is I could actually almost scale this straight back. You know, looking from the back, you can see where these come out dead straight all of a sudden. And I could actually save this right quick. Save as again. Save as. Because I'm going to show you something and I want to be able to undo it if I need to. So, again, if I'm looking at this like this, and this one I'm going to grab to the Y, and you could almost move it in like so, and you can see how the line stays straight. But again, the problem with this, when I move this to the Y like this, now if you look at it, I kind of straightened the panel out. But then I would have to, and especially with this having two loop cuts in it, I would have to come down on this line and I would have to straighten this line to where it kind of matched that panel down, and then you would have to come on these individually, and you would have to judge the same thing. I'd have to actually almost look at it at an angle, and so that I could actually taper this. So Part of me don't have a really big problem with it having, let's see, let's go Control Z. Control Z, okay. Part of me don't really have a big problem with it having kind of that back shelf is actually coming out exactly straight. It's not a problem on the top, and it's not a problem really on the actual bottom of the side. Where it's a problem is the whole rest of this curve. It's like you have this nice smooth taper, but the way the chip tapers back isn't too much of a problem. But I could dress it up a little bit, which I probably will. Like I said, I'm going to do it off screen, though I ain't going to do it. But it's almost like I need to taper these. Take each set of lines, taper it in just a little bit. And, where I have loop cuts, I'm going to have to taper this, and I'm going to have to kind of match the loop cut lines and stuff like that. And I could actually probably get this a little bit more with the taper. That's what's causing this little shading areas, because those are actually not in contour with the shape of the ship. So that's something I need to play with. And then again, off screen, I need to come down in here and add in these faces here. Right? I'm missing these little faces in this lip here. And so I need to do that. The other thing I want to do right quick before we put this up is come to line mode, and I want to come to the bottom of the ship here. And I want to select this line right here. Select, and then I want to go Control. Okay, come around here and go Control, grab this last line. I should have that whole bottom line. Excuse me. Okay, now I want to hit F for face. A. It's got some funky shading. And I want this to be, we'll go T, I want that face to be flat. See, it made it smooth, which would have kind of made all those lines ganky. So let's go to Object right quick and look at it. Okay. Doesn't seem to be too much of a problem. We got double side and auto smooth, which... Okay, let's go back into Edit. And let's go back to Lines, and let's come over here. Same thing on this one. We want to grab this line, I think. Okay, yep, that was right. We want to squeeze over into the middle here and the bottom. We want to push Control and then grab that one. We should have that whole bottom section again. And we're going to go F, A. Then we're going to come to face mode. We're going to select that face and we're going to click flat. We're going to get rid of our T. Back to verts. Go to object and look at it. Okay, so I just put the bottom. I closed that in. And again, like I said, you could actually delete this big face, and then you could connect a face across there, which would put a line across here, and then you could actually basically make this outer face, and you could actually make it, instead of having a whole face behind that, you could actually make a face that would go inside of here, and you know, you could actually connect it to where it's we're kind of doing it the easy way or the cheap way. Or I shouldn't say it's cheap. It's just kind of it's not that big of a deal. But if you have, sometimes when you do certain detailed models, it is a big deal. You almost want to delete where you have a big face inside there, you can delete that face, and then you actually make this face with all these little lines that would just be like a sidewalk around this thing, and then it wouldn't be on the inside. And the same thing like I was talking about with this hangar bay floor. You could actually make this hangar bay floor where it wasn't a whole bunch of sections, where it was actually one big giant floor with this round shape of these pads. And if you remember, like if we go to edit mode, so we have this part of a floor, we have this big main part of a floor, and then you come up front, and then you have, it goes straight across here, and then you actually, we need to deselect that. That would be a bad thing. And then we have these two here. But like I said, when you go into object mode, it just looks like it's seamless. It's just one big floor. But it's not actually. It's 4 pieces of a floor. And that's important because, like I said, when we go to UV map that, you can run the seams on the UV maps to where we could actually UV map this as a big floor, and then I could draw in, markings, floor plating, however I want it to look. Okay, and now I think on the next installment, episode, issue, whatever you want to call us, we're going to start working. I can do 1 or 2 or 3 things here. I can actually, say I got some flat faces in here, which is kind of interesting. And on the next episode, I want to start. I could either do interiors. Whoopsie. I could either do interiors. CT. Smooth. T. Go back out. Deselect. Verts object mode. I can either start drawing inner things like the little hangar bay office kind of thingies. I don't know if you see my arrow over here. I could do things like that. Or what I could do, which might be smart to do that before I put stuff in, but at the same time, what I need to do, I'm thinking about designing the doors, the clamshell doors on the back here, and then probably, like I'd like to think that I could do both, but I'm probably not going to do both. I might do the front first, because the front has these dual doors, and now that I got these dual pad here's, if I actually design these dual clamshells for this front, and then put this, I probably will make a face where it literally, like it surrounds it, so that I have them. If I animate the doors where you can open the doors on this, which I'm planning on doing. So if they want to use this model in like a scene, and we get it all looking good, where it renders good and all that stuff, then what it'll be neat is if you could open and close these hangar bay doors, and you can see inside of the ship, then I can't have a solid face sitting there blocking the door, so I'm literally going to have to design my clamshell doors and make them flush with the facing, and draw the face in, so that, let's see, okay. Let's say I want one of these pictures. We want to get the facing to where we have these clamshell doors, and we have this front face, this wall face, and then if these open on an animation, you can see inside there. You can see the hangar bay inside there. And then I need to draw in like a photon torpedo launcher. And this is kind of basic, and I kind of like it, but what I don't like about it, in a sense, is that it appears to be a single launcher. And as big as this ship is, I think you could put a double launcher in there, no problem. I think you could have 2 launchers, almost how they have in like Star Trek the rebuild. They have like 2 launchers there, and I think with the inner, I'm looking at the inner kind of, and like I said, this is kind of short, but I think as he was telling me, the designer was kind of telling me the idea is that you could land these shuttles in here. You could change your directions and whatnot, and you could land your shuttles in, and you could have some little maintenance areas back here where you could pull them in. And we're going to play around with that. And then this area up in here is kind of where the neck of your ship is supposed to kind of come down into this area too. So, and it's set back a little ways into the hull, not, so we'll play around with that, because I'm actually going to play a little bit with the interior. But the only interior pretty much that I'm going to say somewhat play with is pretty much this hangar bay, because this is kind of supposed to be, this is a Dreadnought design, which a Dreadnought's supposed to be a battleship, but at the same time, this is kind of supposed to be like an aircraft carrier variant. And some of the original series aircraft carrier ships, what they ended up doing is they had kind of like a double secondary hull, and then they put a saucer on there. You might have seen some of those. I think they have some in Axanar. When Axanar comes out, you're going to see these ships with the saucer and a double hull. Actually, this hull right here, the more I've played around with this and drew this, the more I like this. I actually like this design because it fits the original series idealism, but yet since it's an enlarged hull and it's widened to carry a bunch of shuttles and or like fighters, kind of like the Galactica in a sense. I like the idea that or you could carry a bunch of shuttles to like land, if you had to land a bunch of ground troops and they had phase discriminators or whatever. So they have basically transporter blockers, which I think they call phase discriminators, so they can set them up where you can't beam down troops. So if you had to, let's say this thing carries, the Enterprise carried like 4, I think, or 6 shuttles. The original series ones, if I remember right, I think it carried 4, and or up to maybe 6. And you can see the storage area down here, and you can see the shuttle up on there. And they had a turntable. Actually, I got pictures of it. It's a big square with a circle on it, and it was on a hydraulic ramp. And they could actually bring the ship in here, shut the doors, pressurize the hangar bay, and they could, that ramp would actually drop down to this level, and then they could basically store them. And they usually just kept one in the shuttle bay, and it was actually big enough. It was a big enough bay you could put 4 ships up in here, and But I think if I remember, I think they could store up to 4. And they always used the Galileo because that's what they built the prop for, but they actually had named all the shuttles different. They had like the Galileo and the Da Vinci and Michelangelo. It's almost like the Ninja Turtle shuttles. But they were usually named after astronomers But if you imagine, at one point in Star Trek, they had 14 Constitution-class starships. So imagine 14 ships, and they all have 4 shuttles apiece. They could either do one. They could either, in a sense, all do the same thing. They could all have a Galileo. You could have a Lexington with a Galileo and an Enterprise with a Galileo, and you could do that kind of thing. Or you could actually just literally have them all look up names, which is kind of interesting because, like on Deep Space Nine, you had the Rio Grande and you had the Ganges, and which were runabouts. But if you imagine if those ships had their own name, then you couldn't have a Starship Ganges or a Starship Rio Grande, of any kind. So, and I've got into a little bit of rambling here. Let's blow this up here like this. and save it. And like again, this was, I think, episode 10. The last one was 9. And I will see you in 11. We'll save this. Oh, did I save that right? Save as 9. Yep, did save it right. Okay, and I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.